Hi.
Hi.
How
Welcome
are you?
Back
Welcome back
to Smooth Jams in the evening
with Max and Tracee.
Ooh. Well, hello. Welcome.
To our podcast.
Yes.
Whatever, I'll just date myself.
Woo. It's been another week, huh?
It
Holy
has.
shit. Every time I blink, a week goes
by. And
Yeah.
the older you get, the faster it goes.
Holy
just a
fucking
FYI.
Christ. Do I need to stop blinking?
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this week it was a great week for me because I just did a lot of resting. I haven't worked hard in weeks.
That's
So
good.
It's cool, yeah. It's a really good transition period from old job to new job.
I feel like I did a lot of running around, if that makes sense, but not actual work. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
I felt like a chicken with my head cut off this week.
Interesting. How did that feel?
Awful.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
I went to my partner's this weekend, and my car got broken into. Well, kind of, 'cause I left it unlocked. So I don't know if you want to count that as... They didn't break anything. The one fucking time that I literally thought about it before going into the house. I'm like, it'll probably be fine. Because the nice neighborhood,
Right.
It'll probably be fine. The one fucking time I unlock my car in that town, fucking gets broken into.
It's getting so bad in that town.
Yeah. That town.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yeah, I know.
But the only thing, they didn't really take anything. They just kind of rifled through my stuff. But, all my CDs are still there, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Stereo's still there. They took my winter coat. So, I went shopping.
Yay!
I went shopping for a new winter coat.
Okay.
And you know what I found?
What?
2 leather jackets instead.
Where did you go shopping at?
Plato's Closet.
Nice!
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Yes. I love that store.
We went to Buffalo Exchange first. Have you ever been there?
Yep.
Yeah, I had only heard of it. I never saw it. We stumbled upon it. So we went inside there, and I hated it as soon as I walked in. It was way too crowded, and I was like, I don't see any coats, but I see a lot of hipster clothes.
Yes, yeah.
Which is fine, but I needed a coat,
Yeah, yeah. Another one that's good, it's a local place. It's not like a national chain like Plato's and the Clothes Horse.
Clothes Horse. You know what? We did see that on Google.
Yes, that's my favorite one.
Good stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
The lady's so nice that works there or that owns it. She has a little dog that she brings to work every day.
I should have gone there.
Yep.
We saw it when we were searching for thrift stores, and we're like, oh, it looks expensive.
No, they're really affordable. Yeah.
Okay. Probably cheaper than Plato's Closet. I mean.
Yeah, it's about the same, but yeah, it's just kind of a laid back, more environment.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I know. I still don't have a winter coat, but it's not going to be cold much longer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hopefully.
Pretty sure leather, or at least fake leather,
will keep
waterproof.
You warm.
Yeah. I mean, it's meant to keep animals warm.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it should be fine.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
Okay. Yay. All right. So, listen. There was stuff that I wanted to say last week in the episode, but then we talked for 2 fucking hours. And so I didn't really...
Yeah, sorry, guys. We hadn't seen each other, and we just started going, and it was hard to stop, and it's hard to fit everything we have to say into an hour and a half.
Yeah, our whole week's worth of catching up and getting off, into one afternoon is hard.
Yep.
Yeah. Breaks my heart having to edit some of it out.
I know.
We didn't even get to share all of our goofy bullshit with everybody.
I know, right?
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, so first of all, what I want to do is comment on last week's episode and just get it out of the way. And then also, I remembered that I kind of sort of had a date at some point. So,
okay.
So I wanted to share that with you.
Okay, yes.
I met on Bumble. It was really brief, but okay. So remember last week we were talking about 50 years of dating game shows.
Yep.
Right? How'd you like that? Thoughts?
I loved it.
Loved it? Okay.
I loved it. I thought you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yep. I liked it too. But there's something that I just stumbled across when I was researching all of that I wanted to point out. It seems like there was a trend that I keep seeing in it, first of all, just in podcast research in general, is the stressed importance of long, with air quotes around it, relationships. It seems like a lot of things that I read make it invalidate any kind of a relationship that isn't long, okay?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot just in the dating game shows, is the point of those is to find your one true love, so there's this really weird stressed importance of a long, finding your one true person forever.
Right.
Okay? not only lengthy relationships, but there's also kind of like a stressed importance of committed relationship. Okay. Also in air quotes. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, that's a bit subjective. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
What does commitment really look like?
Right.
It's different for everybody. Right?
Yep.
Committed doesn't necessarily mean you're going to just get married and that's the whole rest of your life.
Right.
So I wanted to point out there was an emphasis on pretty much all of those shows we talked about marriage being a marker of success.
The final destination.
As, dating and relationships. Like the success of that is marriage. Right. For the rest of your life plan with somebody. And that's fine. I just wanted to point out that the popular media established a link between dating, love, marriage, and commitment. Kind of all those things have to go together. I personally think that's a little bit unhealthy. I didn't even want to get into it because we just went way over time last week, but let me explain myself.
Okay.
I'll explain. First of all, marriage is an industry, so let's not forget that.
Yep.
It's also symbolized, like a symbol of like responsible adulthood with air quotes, or the thing that you should be doing.
Yes.
And I think in society there's this undertone that's like, if you don't get married and have the kids, somebody will be disappointed in you. Like your parents or whoever that want to be grandparents or brothers, sisters, whatever, right?
Right.
There's also a lot of tax incentives and shit like that for getting married, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Just let's not forget about that. And then the dating game shows kind of like brought this idea into the wider view of popular media, reaching wider audiences. It propelled the ideal that successful dating ends in marriage and that marriage is the product of love.
Right.
So that's what I've been getting kind of drip fed to me through all this research we've been doing. And I just wanted to say, I don't necessarily agree with that. And so as fun as that episode was, it was super fun. I don't necessarily agree with it entirely.
100%.
Okay, so I really wanted to take this time to validate that in myself and like in other people.
I feel like society drip feeds us that the goal in life is, a relationship, marriage, children, buy a home, live happily ever after.
Yeah, it's like a cookie cutter standard, right?
But it
doesn't necessarily
marriage is fucking hard. Relationships are hard. You know, it's not live happily ever after. Right. It's work ever after. You have to be yes.
That's a job too.
It is. And you have to be willing to put in that work. So I agree with you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So here's my counter argument, because I just love to have a point for everything.
Give it to us.
I think that love doesn't have to last in order to be considered love. So when we watch these shows on TV and all this marriage type stuff, that gives us the idea that if it doesn't last, it doesn't count. I'm here to tell you that's not true, or at least I don't think that's true.
I agree. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I fully believe somebody can literally be the love of your life for a few months, or a year, or 2 years, right? Who the fuck is going to tell you that you didn't have those feelings that you were feeling?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
the best relationship I ever had. 2 years.
Right. I think the love that you feel for a person is an individual experience.
Yes.
And keeping in mind that people grow and change over time, and we establish new goals, and we meet past goals. We encounter environmental changes with like work or school, or just kind of having people filter in and out of our lives. Just generally, people change. And so in that sense, I don't think there's anything unhealthy or anything that should be stigmatized about short-lived relationships.
I agree.
Okay, so I just want to validate anybody who thinks, I had a really, really great relationship once that didn't last long, but I really loved them, and everyone in my life says I didn't love them. That's bullshit.
100%.
That's bullshit. Love is love.
Or yes, it wasn't true love because they didn't. And
it's
love. That's the other thing is
say if you're in high school, you're not capable of love.
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah. That's right. I've always defined my relationships. It's funny that you say this, because I always used to tell my sister, every guy I've ever dated, I loved him. I've loved him in a different way. You know, I can think of one guy and I think he was a fun love. He was fun. Another guy I can think of and I think like he was my learning love. He's the one that taught me things. I love them, but I love them all differently. That doesn't mean it's not fucking love.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you didn't love them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just love them. And it's like my kids, they tease me and think I have a favorite child. And I love them, but I love them in different ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. Love it's not something you just put in a box and say, okay, that's love. And then
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's individual, and I think it changes as we change.
Yes.
Right? Our expression and our reception of love changes as we change.
100%.
Change is fundamental to being a human being.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's important to note that all the emphasis in popular culture on long relationships turning into marriage really overshadows like the basic human activities of adaptation, growth, and change. And it almost invalidates those as being natural. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So furthermore, it implies that despite the billions of people on Earth, remember it was like 7 or something like that really big number we talked about, it says there can only be one true love, but let's not forget that the concept of love is an abstract idea.
That's right, yes.
So it's individual, it's something that cannot be measured in any kind of a way. So I feel like if you don't have the ability to measure what each person perceives to be love, then there is no reasonable way to prescribe a common standard for what love looks like, feels like, what the rewards of love should be, and what a successful love experience entails. So not only do I feel this way about love just in general, I feel the same way about the concepts of commitment and successful relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I really did enjoy last week's episode, but I just kept finding myself thinking, like, out of all the things we talked about, I'm like, I don't fit that mold.
No, I don't
fit that
either.
mold either. I'm not interested in that particular aspect of it, right? So each of these things cannot be measured, so I don't think each of these things, maybe we shouldn't take too seriously the image of what those mean as prescribed by popular media. And then in all caps, I wrote down, don't be ashamed of not fitting the mold. Because I certainly don't fit the mold.
Me either.
Yeah. And I wanted to get that off my chest, right?
Love that.
Thanks. Oh,
I love it.
Thank you. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I feel like I've just not really, I tried the marriage thing, did it for 17 years.
Wow.
And worst relationship of my life.
Wow.
Worst relationship. I mean, I was constantly cheated on. And of course, it was the high school sweetheart thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of take like, okay, well, this is what we should do next. And then this is what we should do next. And I did all of that. And I'm not saying that my ex-husband didn't love me. I'm sure he did in his own way.
But you were kids.
We were kids.
Yeah.
We changed.
Yeah.
I think the only way I wouldn't change anything except for, I wouldn't have fought so hard for my marriage. I should have let it go sooner. And just because I got a divorce doesn't mean it wasn't a successful relationship. I've got amazing kids out of it. I learned a lot from it. I definitely learned what I will and will not put up with. And my dad described it to me this way. And this is my favorite analogy of love. So imagine you love apples and you're handing this person an apple and you're like, I love you.
I do love apples.
And they're looking at you, handing you an orange. And they're like, no, I love you. And you're like, that's not love. My love is an apple. Their love is an orange. So here you are, you've got two different concepts of love and you're trying to combine that. And that can be hard. That can be really hard. Yeah. So it doesn't mean he didn't love me. It doesn't mean, in each relationship, that person didn't love you. Their idea of love is just different. And sometimes when you don't pick up on that immediately, the compatibility is, you're not super compatible. And you just keep fighting saying, I love you. And they're like, no, you don't. I don't want an apple. Yeah. So I think bringing this to light is so good.
Thank you.
I really think this is a good topic because a lot of people do feel like failures if you get a divorce or if a relationship ends.
Because that's not the standard of success
right.
that's been set by us. I just feel like whatever you took out of it, whatever you learned from it, that's also a win.
I do feel like when you grow and change, the best way, it's okay to fall out of love with someone.
Oh, totally.
You change.
It's human nature.
I feel like you should be honest with your partner and just say, like, of course you're going to devastate them and hurt them, but it's better than cheating. It's better than lying. It's better than dragging out something and making two people miserable.
Of course, yeah. That's time you can't get back.
Right. And so if you fall in love with someone else, so it happened.
Own up to it. It's
That's
human
right.
nature.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Be honest about it. Don't lie. And that is what destroys the idea of a good relationship.
Yeah.
Is the lies and the cheating and the everything that just
trust issues.
Yes. Yeah.
And like often when a relationship gets that bad, that's what you remember about it too.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? When like the good days suddenly aren't good enough to forget all the bad.
I don't remember any good times in my marriage.
Yeah.
Like, I literally closed that chapter. It's closed. I don't look back on it. And if I do, it's all bad. Yeah. And I don't like that. So after that relationship, I decided I know what I will and won't put up with. And like I said, I had the best 2-year relationship, and it didn't end badly. It ended because we went to different places in our lives. That's okay, you know? And each guy after, I loved him in a different way and had fun. They're put in your life for a purpose, but it doesn't mean I failed at any relationship.
No, it doesn't.
I'm extremely happy single. I'm extremely happy when I'm in a relationship if I can find the right person. And just know that, you're not a failure if a relationship ends.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong
and you
with
don't
a
have
short-term relationship
That's
either.
right.
Like, I don't think there should be a stigma about that. And I love how we've been talking about, like, in the Netherlands, when you had said, was it the Netherlands or Belgium or something, that women aren't slut-shamed?
Yes.
And a lot of people, like, just, like, sex is part of just a natural part of getting to know each other.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that there's no stigma there, because I think that is unhealthy for people here, because we're trained to think that a long relationship is a success and a short one is a failure, and too many short ones means you're promiscuous.
Right.
I fucking hate that.
100%.
Ridiculous.
And
I hate it here.
Listen, you know what? How many fucking outfits do you try on before you buy one?
Yeah.
Right? You don't just like grab something off the rack and think, like, this is going to be it for the rest of my life. I guess I'll stick with this one.
The one going out outfit.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes you outgrow the outfit, and that's fine too.
Yep.
Okay. End of rant.
Okay.
Sorry,
keep going.
Thanks for listening.
I love this.
I guess I was overthinking it a little bit. Like, first of all, that's what I thought about it, but I also, like, didn't want anybody to think that I, like, watch reality shows and I just get stars in my eyes. Like, that's life.
Right.
I don't know why I care about that. Like, think whatever you want about me. Obviously, some part of me cares, but, like, I don't watch those shows like, that's love.
Right.
And if you do, that's fine, but I'm here to tell you not everybody does, and it's okay to not believe in that, you know?
And,
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. I love that you brought this up.
Thank you.
Our podcast is about dating.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about? Dating. What you talked about last week was amazing. It taught us all a bunch of stuff.
Yay!
Just because we talk about it doesn't necessarily mean it's what we believe in. You know?
It's out there.
That's right. We are giving you information that you may or may not find useful.
Yeah.
You may not agree with.
You may not like us.
But listen, I learned a lot about the history of dating shows. And I think it was a fucking great episode.
Thank you.
And it doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
It was a fun one.
It was.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I wanted to ask you, which dating sites do you use?
I have used almost all of them, I feel like.
What are your favorites? Like, which ones are you still right now active?
Match.com.
Okay.
I love Bumble.
Yeah.
I do. I don't do Tinder. There's another one that I use. I don't pay for Match.com anymore.
I have used only 2.
Okay.
I've used Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, I've used that one. I'm on there.
Yeah, I used it years and years ago to find friends. That's what all my friend group did, was to find people near us. I didn't really consider it like a dating thing until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then when I got back on it after so many years, it was so different. Like, you had to pay. It was like, hey, whatever dollars to see who viewed your picture. Yeah. And I'm like, who fucking cares about that? So nothing really ever came out of the Plenty of Fish, other than that I realized I don't really like it that much. That crazy person that I met through Plenty of Fish. Ugh. So not a good experience. And then Bumble. I did try Bumble, and I thought it was cute. I liked it. I liked the setup.
Bumble, you can also find just friends. You can change it. Yeah. And I do. I like Bumble. I like that it leaves it in the female's hands. Yeah. And because, listen, I've swiped right accidentally, and it's like, boom, you've matched. And on Bumble, even if I accidentally matched with someone, they can't send me a message unless I message them first.
Huh.
And I love that.
Okay.
Because sometimes I didn't mean to swipe right.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to match with you.
Yeah. Accidents happen, you know, when you're just moving.
Yes, yep.
Listen, I didn't know that about Bumble. The woman making the first move.
Yep.
Bumble was the first experience I ever had same-sex searching.
Okay.
So I didn't know there was a thing between men and women. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I promised you I would tell you about a sort of date that I had, and I remembered. I did have a Bumble date once.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
A few summers ago. It was during one of the COVID years. I don't even remember which one.
I know. How many have we had now?
I know. Fuck.
Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. So I matched with a girl who we will call Mia. And my God, she was beautiful. She's had dark features, dark long hair, and like this luscious lips. She's just beautiful as fuck. And not from here either. Like, first of all, one of my largest turn-ons is like a bilingual person.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, so
sexy.
So she's bilingual, and I'm like, that's fucking hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're messaging back and forth a few times. We matched, and Bumble at that time had this new feature that was like, you can go on a date, night in, Bumble's night in or whatever, where you just like webcam.
Yes.
And there's little games. There's like little trivia games.
Oh, fun.
We decided we were gonna have a date. Like,
okay.
And this
like a virtual date.
A virtual date. Yeah.
Awesome. I haven't tried that yet.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. And it was honestly, it was a first for me, not only because I really wasn't into either dating apps or virtual dating.
Right.
I also wasn't really out yet in the sense that I would be telling people, you know, I'm interested in dating women or what have you.
Right.
I wasn't even out with my pronouns yet. I was still using gendered pronouns then.
Yeah.
So it just, a lot of firsts. And the date was awesome. God, her voice was like lovely honey, and we laughed about a lot of stuff, and we learned about a lot of stuff, and we played this trivia game, and we were both terrible at it, and that's what was so funny about it. We got like almost all the questions wrong, and I think that's how we learned we had a lot of things in common. Like neither one of us knew any of the sports questions, or like any of the art history questions, you know? Yeah, it was super fun. And, you know, we got off the phone or whatever, and we're messaging, like, that was really great, I would really love to do that again, you know? And then we planned for a second one, and then kind of at the last second, Mia, like, wasn't able to do it. So then, you know, we waited for a little while. Life went on. We stopped talking or whatever here and there. Got back in touch later. All of this is probably over the span of, like, a couple months. Okay. So it was long ago and kind of fuzzy. I don't remember all of it.
Right.
Like, at a certain point, we got back in touch, you know, caught up. How are you? You know, and then we decided we were going to go an in-person date, because at that time, whatever time that was, I think a wave of COVID had just like started to stagnate. Sure. It might have been whenever there was that, like when the mask mandate went down for a week. Yeah. It might have, I think it was around that time when we had that false sense of security. Yes. So we were going to go to McMenamins. Okay. So excited. And on that day, I had I was going to wear a dress. Okay. I had 2 dresses to choose from in my closet. Okay. And one of them was like a purple plaid, and the other one was some other type of fabric. So I sent her a picture of just 2 fabrics next to each other, like, hey, which one do you like more? Yeah. And then she took her a minute to answer, so I was getting ready, like, to leave the house, right? And then I leave the house, and on the way, I'm like, I'm gonna stop for flowers. I want to get flowers. Aww. So I went to the flower store. It's on the corner right by the freeway over there. Yeah. And all they had, like, left already, like, in already made bouquets was Mother's Day flowers. And so they're like, I love you, Mom. And I'll just, like, I'm like, I don't want to. Like, no. There was some in Spanish that's like, maybe she'd like that. But she's not my mom. We're not calling each other mommy. No. So, don't. Like... So I went up to the counter, like, excuse me, can you help me find, like, a bouquet of something that doesn't have all this on it? Yeah. And the woman, like, the checker counter person was like, I don't know, you can go back and ask, like, the florists. So I went to the back of the shop, asked the florists, and I explained to them I have a date. It's a first date. I was hoping to show up with flowers. And they took one look at this bouquet that I was holding, and they were like, you're not taking that on a first date. Like, they're kind of like wilty, like, leftover flowers. These ladies were like, no, we're going to make you a better one. Give me that, right? And they put lilies in it and roses, and they just built me this beautiful fucking bouquet, and they put, like, new ribbon and new paper around it, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It smelled amazing. And they didn't even charge me for that. Like,
Aww.
The original price of it, like, was $15 or whatever.
Right.
I just paid for that $15 that it would have cost. But they built me a beautiful new bouquet.
Yeah.
And so then I'm, like, so excited. Get in my car. Had a text message that's like, hey, I can't make it.
No.
Yes.
That's happened to me.
Left the house, yeah. And I couldn't really be upset about it. I didn't want to be upset about it because the both of us at the time were kind of in a weird place just generally. It was also one of the first COVID years. Everybody's mental health was down. And, like, she definitely overshared and let me know kind of what she was feeling like. And she didn't have to. And I already know that must have been really hard.
Yeah.
To, like, open up and say, I can't do it. This is what it is. I know how hard that is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't worry about it. You know, the timing, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So then we planned at some point another virtual date. And then she couldn't make that one either. At the last second. So it never really went anywhere, but she was beautiful, and I love the memory of it because it was a first for me. It was like after that I switched to non-gendered pronouns. It was the first time I'd ever like really like tried to make something work with a female. I guess here and there I've had relationships with women, but this was like I was ready to fall in love.
Yeah,
if that's
you were open to.
I was open. Yeah. It didn't really work out with Mia. We still talk, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're still friends, kind of. We talk every once in a while. We catch up over text or whatever. Like, it's just one of those, the timing was never right.
That is the story of my life. I always meet the right guy at the wrong time. Yeah. But you know what? That's what I was going to say when I forgot a little bit ago.
The blah, blah, blah.
Yes, the blah, blah, blah. Same. I mean, with Schmacks.
Yeah.
You know, he is 2 hours away, travels a lot for work. I'm super busy, kind of work 2 jobs, granddaughter on the way, podcast. Yeah. So, like I was supposed to go see them on Tuesday and it didn't work out. And it's not that things have fizzled, but you can only text so much. Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. And he's super busy. So I'm not saying that, like, I'll never not see him again. I hope I do get to see him again.
The timing's just
But the timing is just kind of off. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that it was a failure. Yeah. I met a super nice guy who took me on a fucking great date. Yeah. I had a good night. And like I said last week, if it goes nowhere, you know what? At least he showed me that there's still nice guys out there, you know? So same. Yeah. I mean, every time you go on a date doesn't mean you're going to find your forever. It doesn't. But it does mean you can enjoy the time that you spend with that person.
Some endorphins, get your blood pumping, share a joke.
Remind yourself that you are a woman and there are people out there that are still...
If you're a woman.
If you're a woman. But, like, I'm thinking of me. Like, I'm still, at 47, someone was still attracted to me and still thought, you know, I was, you're so sweet. But
stone cold fox.
It just made me feel good about myself. And so if it never goes anywhere, I will always remember Schmacks as a really super cool dude that took me on a great date.
I'm so glad.
You know, kind of the same with you and Mia. Yeah. So, and I'm sure we'll still talk, you know, I mean, he's still texting, I still text.
Yeah.
But, and maybe we'll get together, maybe we won't. But I'm not going to be super sad or... I'm extremely happy that for whatever reason he was put in my life.
Paths.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel
and
the
that's
same
okay.
I'm really glad that we crossed paths because
it helped you.
With her helped me fully come out.
And maybe that's why she was put in your life.
About the flowers. Okay. So, because she wasn't able to make that day, I just went home and then my best friend LeBeau came over.
Yeah.
And that was it. I just came out to my best friend, like, the only way that I knew how. Like, I've known my whole life that I'm this or that, but I was able to articulate it in a new way that just felt 100% like a sock that fits. And my best friend, I like cried a little bit. My best friend cried, and then I gave him the flowers because I love him so much, and he was like, "No, welcome to the family. These are for you." He gave me back the flowers, and then gave me a rainbow like wristband.
Yes.
So yeah, it was. It was a good experience, although it wasn't what I wanted at the time. I think I got something that I wanted that I didn't know that I wanted.
Yes, everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that.
So, Mia, if you're listening, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
So, this week, here's my topic. My brain was, like, going off okay?
Okay.
My brain got the fuck away from me, and I had so much fun with this topic because I just feel really smart, and because I think it's something everybody can take a position on. Okay, so I wanted to talk about relationships in terms of nature versus nurture.
Oh, I like it.
The nature versus nurture argument. Because I feel like when I'm doing research, I've encountered both of these points of view, both of these arguments implicitly through different sources of information.
Mm-hmm.
And it became especially apparent after last week's segment with the dating shows, because those obviously took one perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
So let's just do a recap for anybody who isn't familiar, I guess, with nature versus nurture relationships. An argument for nature would be like if the relationship happens naturally and you don't have to do much for it, if it's just like a natural thing, I guess that would be a for nature argument. So what would that look like in a relationship? I think it would look like personality, compatibility, shared interests, or like a sort of biological or scientific approach to dating in a way that perceives matchmaking as something that can be hacked based on who you are as a person fundamentally. Yeah. So a lot of the shows that we talked about is kind of like that. They'll try to match you with somebody that they think will suit you the best. Yes. Based on just who you are as a person. You're you and they're them, and so you must complete each other in this way. Right. That's a nature approach, I think. Yeah. A nature approach implies that fundamentally each part of you can be complemented by each part of somebody else's them. Right? Okay. We've all heard that phrase, you complete me. Yeah. You make me whole. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the same thing. Each part of you is complemented by each part of them. Yes. Naturally. It's already a part of you, and you're like a puzzle that fits together, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So these are the ideas that I had that would count for like a nature argument. And from what I read, if you believe in this, or, maybe this is true for some people listening, if you can become more aware of what, like, your natural biological inclinations are, or your strengths, or your needs, you can use that knowledge to find your perfect match if that's what you're looking for. Right. Right? And so I think that's the approach that was taken when we were talking about MTV's Are You the One? When they tried to scientifically match people. I think that's what they were going for. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. Naturally, in conclusion, two people click and then bing, bang, boom, you're a perfect match. It also reminds me a lot of Darwinism. Yeah. Because, we're animals and we have specific needs and we are biological beings. We inherit our traits as much as any other fully formed animal. So, from that perspective, it's reasonable to conclude that genetically, maybe we have a certain type of person that we go for. Yeah. And, we're all shallow in some ways. Okay, we all have type. Right. 100%. It doesn't necessarily mean shallow as in looks, but there's things that we all seek in other people. What I mean by shallow. So that's a reasonable argument, that there's you have some biological need or something that you're just genetically more attracted to that would make you steer one way and not the other. Right. I think it makes sense. Uh-huh. I've also encountered articles and things that seem the other perspective more for nurture, which is something that you work for, something that changes over time, something that's not static. Right. Yeah. So a nurture argument to relationships would assume that growth and change occur in a way that influences your interpersonal relationships. Yeah. Also reasonable. It implies that you can be attracted to some certain type at one time and then not another at another time in life. Mm-hmm. Right? I'd have to say so myself. Man, when I was in high school, emos were fucking hot. I'm not attracted to emo kids anymore, but man, I remember when those were the heartthrobs. Oh, when I was younger, I liked big, broad shoulders, dark hair, dark eyes. Mm-hmm. Now I tend to I love bald men. Again, don't know what it is, but I completely changed. Mm-hmm, totally. My attractions completely changed. Yeah, the nature versus nurture. I like it. I think immediately, I think of my sister, and she had this 28-year marriage, and I think that was more nurture, because you do, after you make it to a certain point, even if you technically are I don't like this person anymore and I don't want to be here, you almost feel we've made it this far. The sunk cost fallacy. If we give up now, we, lose everything and we've worked for. And my ex-brother-in-law, instead of going about it the way he did to end things, it would have been better if he just said, we've grown apart.
moved on. Yes, exactly.
We're not who we used to be.
But I feel like society is like, well, 28 years, you can't just give up, but then she meets this.
It's 28 years you can't get back.
Right. And she meets this new guy and it's just easy. They just have the cutest, easiest, go with the flow relationship. And it's just easy, whereas, her marriage was a lot of fucking work, a lot of hard work. And in the end, nature versus, and I've had both of those also, where you have to just constantly nurture the relationship and then I've had that relationship where it's just easy. Like, you're like, what am I doing wrong? And that's sad because you think the easy one, there must be something wrong.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this easy to be in a relationship. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be work. And that's, I don't deserve to be, what? So, good concept.
People is nice to me. Thank you.
I like it.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
I feel like everybody is going to have an experience.
Oh, yes, that you can relate. Yep.
Okay, so where was I? This nurture implies you can be attracted to sometime, blah, 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 not at another time, because we change over the life course through environmental changes, through information gathering, and just overall, like, us as people forming opinions that change over time.
Yeah.
Who we are also changes, right? That's reasonable.
100%.
So I'll put that in air quotes, right? Because whatever success means to you who's listening, a successful relationship keeps that in mind. Keeps in mind that
it's definitely subjective.
Is the only constant. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that personality is not static. And so that relationship is nurtured by both parties, ideally, to grow and change together.
Yeah.
This is the concept that we see, like, in the phrase give and take.
Yeah.
Right? That would be a nurture approach. Or, like, compromise, that's a nurture approach, right? Because that implies you have to make changes.
Yes.
Or it's not going to work, right? Mutual respect is another idea I had. So, where do we see this realized? I was thinking when you go to, like, relationship therapy or, like, marriage counseling, the position taken by the counselor is going to be nurture. Right?
100%.
Because their goal is to help each person understand, like, the feelings that you're having, where they're coming from, how to understand your partner's feelings, and how to navigate those feelings with your partner in a healthy way. That's nurture.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So this perspective assumes that couples will either grow together and become stronger over time, or grow apart and realize that they're not right for each other.
Sure.
Right? So that was just a quick PSA, nature versus nurture, and kind of what I was getting at in terms of relationships. What do each of those look like? So let's talk about online dating.
Yeah.
Does it work? And if so, in what ways is it successful? Keeping in mind that the term successful is subjective.
Right.
That was kind of my, like, roadmap to this topic. Like, how am I going to sort this out? I wanted to get as much information as I could. And my partner, super amazing, was like, hey, have you seen the show Adam Ruins Everything? And then we watched a couple episodes, and then they told me, hey, there's an episode called Adam Ruins Dating, and you should watch that one. So I did, and it was fucking good.
Was it?
A great episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of my information is from that Adam Ruins Everything episode. I also traced the sources that were used in that episode and found other sources.
Okay.
I actually read a couple, like, peer-reviewed journal articles, because it turns out relationships and compatibility is like an 80-year-old body of literature. It's a whole thing. Yeah, so my idea wasn't original, but I had a great time looking at it. Okay, so let's talk about eHarmony. Have you ever used that?
No, that's one I have not.
Okay, it's not free, or at least it didn't used to be.
No,
if it is now.
It's not.
They've probably made, like,
most of them are not free.
So eHarmony boasts that they have a scientific approach to their matchmaking, and they got so successful, like, with this slogan, really because they were the first one to do it. They just were the first ones to do it the best. Now they're known for the original, like, scientific approach.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Very nature-y.
Yes. Yeah. And I think Match.com also uses, like, some answers that you put. They don't do the big quiz that eHarmony does, but they do have, like, a compatibility thing where you're, like, 80% compatible or 90% compatible. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
They do. And who knows? Is it, like, an algorithm?
Yeah. It is an algorithm.
Yeah.
So eHarmony uses algorithms and sorting processes to help match people with whom they are the most compatible based on their profile information. So I want to also put compatible in air quotes because that is also somewhat subjective. Like everybody's compatibility is different. Everybody is a puzzle piece that looks different, right? So some use personality tests or whatever, and then Adam ruined personality tests on the show.
Okay.
There was one, I don't remember what it was called, but it's the one where it's like you can be like an ISBJ or whatever. The most
yes, one. I know what you're talking about.
He totally debunked it. 100%. Okay. That's not real.
Oh.
That's not real. Yeah. I mean, I suppose, like, if you're susceptible to placebo effect, which I am, anything that I'm happy about or believe in, like, if I believe it's real, great things happen. But, like, he literally debunked it. And it was like, if this kind of a test that isn't real, isn't true to a person because it assumes that personality is static, right? So it doesn't account for growth or change over time or environmental changes. You might answer a question differently.
100%.
From one day to the next, right?
That's right.
It doesn't keep any of that in mind, so it's not accurate. But it's a test that's being used to influence really large numbers of people, as in the dating world. Companies use it on their employees. Yeah. Teachers use it to try to find the best learning styles. Yeah. Depending on what kind of learners their students are. It's putting people in boxes as a means to try to communicate better, but it's faulty. It's faulty. Right? So that doesn't work. So when they say, like, eHarmony, we use personality tests or whatever, or Match.com, no, you don't, though. No, you don't. I mean, that's not
You use a test that you will match answers how you felt for that day.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. For a fee. So here's a quote from a New York Times article that I read. For a fee, many dating sites will collect data about you. Yeah. They'll turn it into some kind of a number system, and then they'll crunch those numbers in a way that match you with someone who, as eHarmony puts it, has been, quote, pre-screened for deep compatibility with you across 29 dimensions. Just wondering what those dimensions are because it doesn't say on the website. It doesn't say.
Really?
Yeah. There's 29 dimensions, but what are they? We don't know. Yeah. Okay. Sites like Chemistry, Perfect Match, Gene Partner, they make similar scientific sounding claims, right? Here's a quote from eHarmony's original blog. Okay. Quote, out of all the single people that you will meet in your life, only a very few would make a great relationship partner for you. By combining the best scientific research with the detailed profiling of every member, we screen thousands of single men and women and bring you only the ones that have potential to be truly right for you, unquote. So let's pause for a minute before I rip this apart. Let's pause for a minute. This is a nature argument, right? Very much so. That like you as a person can be perfectly matched with another person who has all the parts that you need and you complete each other. Sure. Like a puzzle, right? On a side note, that this algorithmic process that eHarmony uses is patented. Like, they own it. But here's the thing. It's top secret. It has never been leaked what their process is or what these dimensions are. Sure. How they match. So, if you think about it, it's patented, meaning they own the procedure, but no one else has ever seen it because it's top secret. So, it cannot be analyzed by a third party. Right. So, there's no way to test if it works or not. There's no way.
We're going by their word. Exactly. What they say. Yes. And that's it.
And that's it, yeah. So that's a validity concern about their claim. And they make other claims, such as 1 in 5 relationships start online. Okay. According to who? Like, 1 in 5... What now? Yeah. Are you sure? 1 in 5?
Yeah, who did this study?
Do we forget that a third of the world doesn't have internet still? Like... Right. I'm just saying. So
is that 1 in 5 in the United States?
Doesn't say.
Worldwide?
Yeah. Universal.
Or is that just a number you decided to throw out there and think people will just eat it up? Because you say that.
Yeah, people do eat it up.
Oh, I know.
It's like 1 in 5. Wow. That means
it must work for me.
Yeah. It's funny. So although in concept, maybe finding people with similar interests could be successful. Sure. Because if you have nothing in common with somebody, maybe that won't be a great relationship. Right. Maybe not. But
that's kind of just common sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like that doesn't deserve a patent. That's just common sense, is you usually try to find someone you have something in common with.
Literally anything. Yes. So there are some missing pieces to like sites like these and like that whole process of trying to nature match people. They're missing shit in bold. First of all, the bold claims made by dating sites are often inflated and unsubstantiated. So, quote, online dating now consumes vast resources in the United States and around the world. This is taken from a peer-reviewed study that I read, by the way. Okay. A weird flex, but I know. So online dating has grown into a billion-dollar industry.
100%.
Billion with a B as in boy. And it is one of the few growth industries during a period of worldwide recession. What does that tell you, right? If somehow it's like a little bit immune to recession, people are still spending money on dating.
Looking for love.
Yes.
Looking for the one. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that means like people believe the hype. You know what I mean? That shows that people are still trying because they're getting like messages that it works, right? So they're willing to keep putting money into it over other things, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's ruined dating, but that's a whole nother story.
In pursuit of these revenues, online dating sites spend hundreds of millions of dollars annually to promote the value of the services that they provide.
Okay.
Right? Like one-of-a-kind matchmaking. Ours is patented and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Not only do we matchmake, you can also see who's been looking at your profile and see how many times and da-da-da. Super swipe or whatever.
Yes.
Send a gift, post.
Send a rose. Yeah.
Totally. A rose.
Seriously, I'm not joking.
Funny. So believing these messages, millions of users are not only spending their money on memberships and subscriptions, but they're also investing considerable time. And let's be honest, time is money. Yeah. My time is valuable to me. I would say that my time is worth money. Right? Yes. And I think any self-respecting person would. 100%. Your time is money too. It's just as valuable as money.
Yep.
Okay. So one estimate suggests that users spend an average of 22 minutes each time they visit an online dating site. What do you think about that?
That's about right.
That's about right. Okay.
Yep. I think about 20 minutes and then I'm bored.
Yeah. Another suggests that they spend 12 hours a week engaged in computer-based online dating activities.
Wow.
Across millions of users, this represents an enormous allocation of time that might otherwise be spent on other activities, including engaging in social interactions offline. So like real life. Let's pretend we haven't been in COVID life for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But still, it's just saying it takes resources away from your being able to go out in the world and actually, Yeah, exactly. So these costs in time and money, they are warranted if dating actually provides improved, cost-effective access to successful romantic relationship. That's what this study was about. It was like, is online dating better than real-world dating? Like, is it cost-effective? Has it improved dating? I'm just gonna tell you right now, spoiler alert, they concluded no. But
shocker.
If evidence is lacking, then people seeking romantic partners may be wasting significant time and money that they could direct towards more productive activities. Yeah. Right? And the point that it's trying to make is that all these websites are unsubstantiated. They just go around willy-nilly like, find your perfect match. Chemistry.com, super sciencey because we're scientists.
Right.
By the way, the founder of eHarmony isn't even a scientist, just so you know. And he's the one who patented their super scientific formula. And he's not even a scientist.
Okay.
I think he was a counselor.
Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, he's not a doctor.
Right.
Like, he claims to be here and there. Doctor eHarmony guy.
Right.
He's not, though. He's a fucking grifter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He owns a business and is successful. That's what he is.
Yeah, right? That's right. He's an entrepreneur.
He's an entrepreneur. Yes, exactly.
A successful one.
Not a bad idea.
Everybody buys into love, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people want to be loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that guy woke up one morning and was like, how can we have Valentine's Day every day?
Yeah. Right. eHarmony.
So another issue with subscription-based sites like eHarmony or Match or whatever, the free ones. Let's not forget that's a for-profit endeavor.
Yeah.
Somebody owns that, and somebody is making money for that. And I also just wanted to point out that when things are free, when they don't cost you, that means you're the product, okay?
Right.
So never rule out the possibility that, like, Plenty of Fish is free and you don't have to pay for it for the most part, probably because they're selling your data. Like, they're making money off of you in some way.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean...
Nothing in life is free.
Not that I care that much at this point because all of our data is everywhere all the time. But I'm just saying, if something is free, then we're the product. Yeah. Don't forget, okay? Here's a quote from CBS. Only 1/30th of the 20 million users that eHarmony advertises is someone you can actually talk to. 1/30th of people are people you can actually talk to. And I'll tell you why. The only way that they don't make money is by showing subscribers to other subscribers, right? So it's the worst thing that they can do for their business because there's no potential for new profit growth with people that are already subscribers. So they make their money showing you people you would have to like log in a certain way to see, kind of a thing, to get people to sign up because they sign up for chunks of time at a time, right? They don't make any money if you already have an account and the person you're looking at already has an account.
Right.
They get money if one of you doesn't.
Right.
Right? So here's another quote. The average account length is just 6 months. 6 months. People join for big blocks of time, so getting a new customer on board is better for them than eking out another month from a current subscriber.
Yeah.
So therefore, they inflate their statistics because new members are more profitable to them than older accounts.
Yeah.
Also, I read somewhere there's a large percentage of accounts that are dead. Have been dead for many years.
And I'm sorry, they say it's hard for people to fake accounts, but I also believe that a high majority of accounts are fake. Mm-hmm. They're scammers, they're catfishers, all of that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you have to take that into account, too.
There's no way to them all. Mm-mm. Yeah. No. Not if there's like 20 million users.
Yeah.
Whose job is it to go double check 20 million accounts?
Yes.
You know?
Who's vetting each person individually?
No way.
No.
No way.
No, you pay your $60 or whatever it is, and boom, you're on there.
Off you go.
Yes.
Join the sea.
So, yes, there's fake names.
Stolen pictures.
Stolen pictures. Yeah. There's probably numerous pedophiles. And, you know, there is. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're just opening the door. Yeah, how many actual people on there are looking for a relationship?
It's hard to say.
There's fake people. There's, you know, the robot people.
Oh, bots. Yeah.
Bots, yep. There's, you know, pedophiles and bad people on there. And then there's some people that just want the likes to make themselves feel good. Yeah. So now you have to vet out all those people that are actually looking for a relationship. And it's very, very fucking minimal.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I've never used eHarmony, but I bet it's especially hard if, like, despite that, everybody puts on their profile seeking a relationship.
Right.
When, like, a lot of them are just not.
And I'm sure maybe eHarmony.
That's how it filters them for you to match you.
Yeah,
you're
100%.
A relationship, and this profile is seeking a relationship. You must be great for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're all fucking here for?
Yeah, exactly. So here's an additional problem with profile matching. The type of information that's being collected really isn't enough for people to get acquainted with one another in a real sense, okay?
Right.
So one major problem is that these sites fail to collect a lot of the crucial information about people. Because they gather data from singles who have never met, the sites have no way of knowing how two people will interact once they have been matched, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't predict behavior based on a profile picture and like a couple bullet points, right?
Correct.
Yet, our review of the literature reveals that aspects of relationships that emerge only after two people meet and get to know each other, things like communication patterns, problem-solving skills, sexual compatibility. Yeah. Those are the things that are crucial for predicting the success or the failure of a relationship. Yeah. And you can't harness that and put that on a profile.
No.
Right? You can take a personality test, but we've already debunked those.
Yes.
Right? Maybe you can take some kind of cute little sexual compatibility quiz, but we basically debunked that at this point, right? So, for example, study after study has shown that the way that couples discuss and attempt to resolve disagreements predicts their future satisfaction and whether or not the relationship is likely to dissolve.
Okay.
That makes a ton of fucking sense.
Yeah.
The way that they communicate.
Yeah.
So that's pushing more towards a nurture argument than a nature. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So even if matchmaking online is effective, how much does matching, with air quotes around it, imply that there's, first of all, compatibility? And that compatibility will lead to a successful relationship.
Right.
I'm going to leave you with this tidbit of information. According to a 2008 meta-analysis of 313 studies. Like I said, this is going 80 years back, the study of compatibility, okay? So meta-analysis of 313 studies. Similarity on personality traits and attitudes had no effect on relationship well-being in established relationships. In addition, a 2010 study of more than 23,000 married couples showed that similarity on the major dimensions of personality like neuroticism, impulsivity, extroversion, introversion, etc., accounted for less than 0.5% of how satisfied they were with their marriages. Okay? So that leaves 99.5 something percent of their success to other factors.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not something that can be measured by a computer binary algorithm. Right?
No.
So OkCupid founder Christian Rudder at least acknowledges this.
Yes.
Okay? Christian Rudder's done a great job about being honest about this. He acknowledges, at least in their claim, that they have no idea if their algorithm works or not. It's basically a social experiment.
Okay.
OkCupid's blog site states, quote, OkCupid doesn't really know what it's doing. Neither does any other website.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's part one.
Okay.
It's kind of a run through of nature versus nurture, what those look like, where we see them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go from there, but I didn't want to talk for another 2 fucking hours this
okay.
week, so
bring it up next week.
So
we'll finish
give me
this.
some thoughts. Do you have any comments? Do you have any ideas? Do you feel like you like the swiping apps more or less?
No. I feel like most people don't even read profiles anymore since they began the point where you can just swipe right or left. Mm-hmm. Tinder, I believe, started that. Mm-hmm. No, people look at a picture, swipe. If you're interested in the picture, then maybe you'll read the profile. Mm. But no. I mean, listen, I've got friends, my sister, there's a lot of people I know that have met amazing people. Mm-hmm. One of my best friends, she met a guy after she got a divorce. They're still together. It's been 12 years. Mm-hmm. They met on Match.com.
Oh, that's neat.
So I know people that it's worked for them, mm-hmm. but I also know people like me.
Mm-hmm. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, it's not. Mm-hmm. I think I'm more organic. I just like meeting people organically, mm-hmm. and kind of feels forced. We matched, now we have to talk, now we have to meet, now we have to, have sex, now we have to date. And it's kind of it puts you in a box, mm-hmm. and it forces this kind of...
starts a sequence of events.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I just I met Schmax, and it was organic enough to where mm-hmm. there was no pressure, there was no this or that. But I mean, I'm going to go over some rules of dating. Mm-hmm. Some I agree with, some I don't. But I guess it'll kind of tie in mm-hmm. to awesome. Some of this.
Yay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. Tracee.
Hi.
Do you remember that one time when you're like, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what to do?
Yeah. I was completely clueless.
Well, what did you do? How do you have a podcast?
We went to Buzzsprout.
Yeah, we did. We used Buzzsprout, and it's been awesome. They have everything that you need to get started and tell you how to do everything.
Yeah, I literally Googled how to start a podcast.
Yeah, there.
Buzzsprout popped up. I listened to their podcast. Mm-hmm. Was highly impressed.
Their podcast, by the way, is called How to Start a Podcast.
And it was
amazing.
Literally, that is how we started our podcast.
Step by step.
Yep.
So the best advice that they had was to start with gear that you already have in a quiet space.
We did.
Yeah.
We started with our phones.
Yeah.
And then they gave us advice on what equipment that you could buy.
They put our show on all the major podcast platforms too.
They walk you through every single step.
Got to start pretty much everything for free until we bought that really affordable airtime.
Less than 1 cup of coffee, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Log on to Buzzsprout, create an account. Mm-hmm. If you do a paid account after 2 months, they will send you a $20 Amazon gift card.
So you can put that back into your podcast. Another thing I really loved about working with Buzzsprout was we got a really awesome website out of it. Audio players that we use to put into other websites. Detailed analytics so we know how people are listening, what they're using, and how many. And tools to promote our episodes and more.
I feel like the team at Buzzsprout, they are passionate about helping people succeed.
So if you want to start a podcast, join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout. If you want to follow the link in the show notes, that lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you, and you will get your $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for the paid plan and support our show.
Do it.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we're back.
So,
what have you got this week?
I found a pretty cool article. It was in Women's Health. is where I got most of my information on this, by Dr. Chloe Carmichael. She goes by Dr. Chloe. She's a relationship therapist in New York City.
Okay.
And she's also the author of Dr. Chloe's 10 Commandments of Dating.
Okay.
And she's also a proud member of the Women's Health Advisory Board.
Oh,
so
Dr. Chloe.
Dr. Chloe has given us 11 rules of dating.
Okay.
Some I agree with, some I semi-agree with, and some of them not so much. So let's have a discussion about the 11 rules of like dating in today's times.
Okay. Today, so this is pretty current.
Yeah, pretty current. So her number one rule is date multiple people at once.
Okay. Interesting.
I kind of agree with it. Like if you're just dipping your feet into the dating pool, or you say you've matched with 4 guys on Match, and there's no reason for you to not go on a date with each one of them. Like, just because you go on a date with somebody doesn't mean you're in a relationship immediately, right?
Okay.
So she says, before you agree to an exclusive relationship, play the field. Usually what happens is you meet someone you like, you go out a few times, then bam, they ghost you or pull away for some reason, or they're not looking for something serious. Then you get your feelings hurt. So basically, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread that shit around.
Okay.
Yeah, have options and then pick.
It's a good way to try out new restaurants.
Right. And so, pick out, and then you get to pick the best match for you. You don't just,
So you narrow it down.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with that. Date multiple people.
Okay.
Just because you're dating someone, unless you have that exclusivity chat, does not mean you can't.
What are we?
Yeah. Oh, God. Like, do we have to have that fucking talk? Really? You should, I feel like you should know at a certain point, but whatever. Her number 2 rule, keep dates short.
Okay.
And I kind of agree with this one. 90 minutes is a good amount of time to feel if there's a spark. It's also a good amount of time to get to know someone on a surface level. If a date goes too long, our brain can tend to get carried away with the potential.
Okay.
So this can lead to a state of confusion and despair if nothing develops from like a marathon outing. Yeah. Not to mention, if you keep dates brief, you'll be less likely to burn out and swear off dating.
Okay.
Hello, me.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So, and I feel like that's kind of where I go wrong, is I get burnt out on dating. So I kind of like that one.
I can see why it would be hard. Like, if you had an amazing, like, 4-hour experience or, like, overnight or something like that, would make it harder to walk away from just seeing a movie with somebody.
Yes.
I'd be like, well, they were willing to spend that much time with me. This must be going somewhere.
That is exactly right.
And then it hurts when it isn't.
Immediately.
Right? Or when you realize they're doing that with everybody else too.
Yes. Or even like me and Schmacks, where like we can't make it work.
Yeah.
But we did. We had an amazing date. He spent the night. And now of course, you're like, okay, this is definitely going somewhere. Yeah. And then it kind of fizzles and you're like, bummer, you know? So I can see where that's a good kind of rule.
Yeah.
Number 3, be upfront about wanting a relationship.
Yes. Don't start off with a lie.
Yes. Or if somebody says, I'm not looking for a relationship, and you're attracted and you want to go out, so then you say, me neither. But you really are. You're just looking to get hurt. Yeah. You know?
Setting yourself up there.
She says, by being upfront about what you're looking for will save you time and heartache. Save your emotional sanity by being upfront about what you're looking for. If you're worried about telling your potential partner you want a relationship because you think you're going to scare them off or come across as desperate.
Oh, jeez.
Let go of that idea. Let go of it. If they bail on you, they were probably never right for you anyway. Yeah, they never would have committed anyway. So basically, you're doing yourself a solid.
Yeah.
Be upfront.
Be upfront.
You
Tell
know,
the truth.
If you're not looking for a relationship, but you want to go out on dates and just do your thing, be upfront about it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with wanting a relationship, not wanting a relationship, but just be honest with that person.
That'll change over time, you know?
Yeah. And you could meet somebody that says, I don't want a relationship. They end up liking you, wanting a relationship. Yeah. But as long as you both are upfront and not saying what you want the other person to hear, you know?
Yeah.
This is a really good one, and I agree with this one. Number 4 is avoid talking about exes on early dates. It's kind of an oldie but goodie.
You think so?
I do. I think that there's a way you can bring up exes like in quick, short stories. But I think talking about exes or breakups, like current breakups or how bad a breakup was, it can get pretty heavy, and you want to keep the first few dates light and easy. Of course, talking about past relationships and breakups, it's a great way to learn about somebody, but save it for like a later date. Then you're not scaring somebody off. A good tip, if they bring up the ex in a conversation, divert it with something like, I'd be happy to tell you about that stuff when we get to know each other a little bit better. But for now, I'm really enjoying having a conversation about XYZ.
Okay. Do you agree with this rule?
Yeah. Kind of.
I 150,000% disagree, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Obviously, there's a line between sharing your experience and then just like going on and on and on and on about your last partner. There's a difference there. Obviously.
Yes, 100%.
But in my experience, I don't want anybody to stifle what's on their mind. Also, if somebody's had, I would like to know if they had a traumatic experience or like if there's a reason why they're nervous or hesitant or something. Like on this date, seeing me, I would like to be able to understand where they're coming from. And everything that somebody has been through, they're a product of their experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's a part of them, whether I like it or not, right?
100%.
And in terms of being honest, like, everybody has a past, you know?
Yeah, but do you have to delve into it on the first, second date?
No, you don't have to delve into it, but personally, I would never stifle somebody. I would not interject and say, let's talk about that later. I would let them get it out if that's what they need right then.
Yes.
Chances are I probably have had something similar. I'm like, okay, well, we're doing this now. I agree.
Right.
Here's what happened mine.
I think if it happens organically like that,
yeah.
then yeah. But like in the back of your mind to keep it at I've gone on a date and a job interview, both, where I went on a job interview when I was pissed at my boss. And I went on a date where I had just gotten out of a bad relationship. And I just was like, bleh, 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 puking my guts out. I never heard from that guy again. I think, and after I left, I was like, oh my God, I didn't stop talking. Like,
well, maybe you just needed to get it out.
I did.
And that's okay.
That's what friends are for, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a very heavy date. I puked. Oh, shit. Like, just, not actually puked. I puked I word barfed. Okay, sorry. Yeah. And it was a turnoff for him, and rightfully so. Same with the job interview. Didn't get that job because I just bitched about my boss. And so, like, there's a time and a place for that. Yeah. And I just kind of feel like the first, second date, that is kind of heavy. Now, when you go, oh, my ex and I, ate at this restaurant and I had the best meal here ever. That's different.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
That's part of your experience, yeah.
Yes, so I do think...
Than like, oh, I came here with Charlotte. She's such a bitch.
And then you just start bagging on Charlotte. Yes.
She was so rude to the server.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean by following that rule. Of course, I am not the kind of person that would say... maybe we could talk about this later. I wouldn't shut somebody down.
I would just listen. Obviously, they need.
But if it was a lot and too much, I might be like, "That was a great date, but no, thank you."
Listen, I feel like all we talk about is Charlotte.
Yes, and it's kind of a turnoff.
Might as well just invite Charlotte.
Yes, maybe you guys need to hash things out before you start dating.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, but I think to keep it kind of light on the first couple dates.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's see here. Number 5, pay more attention to follow through than like the advanced planning.
Okay.
So you can make all the plans in the world, but unless you follow through, doesn't really matter. So understandably, some people don't want to accept a last minute date, or they have like a 3-day rule after you start talking to somebody, but not everybody's good at planning.
Mm-hmm.
So just be open to like different kinds of dating, last minute dating.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to the actual how the date goes and the follow through rather than like, oh, I'm going to take you here, and then cancel.
It's going to be the best Valentine's Day ever.
Yep. Oh, I didn't make reservations. Oh, I don't have any fucking plans at all.
In the fridge. I got cocaine.
Yeah. You want one? One line? Can I have yours? So yeah, it's more about the follow through than the planning.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of follow through, one of my golden rules is if you're not ready, flake out. Just cancel. There's no shame in canceling. If you need to cancel, cancel.
100%.
So like, I'm also a person that might hold that against somebody though, if they flake like every time.
Yes, that's
what. 5
plans
in a row or 6 plans in a row or something like that.
Yes, that's basically what she's saying is you can plan, but. And I'm one of those people, too, that on a Saturday night, if I make plans and I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'll flake. Yeah. I will. Sometimes you do have to put your self-care first. Yeah. But if you make plans after plans after plans and you don't follow through, then that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes you not really trust somebody's
That's
word.
right. And I would be like, oh, this motherfucker's catfishing me.
Oh, yeah, that's true, huh? Yeah,
right?
That's
not real.
Not real. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yep. So there's that one, which I kind of like that one. Number 6, don't feel, I don't know how I feel about this one.
Okay.
Don't feel obligated to send a thank you text. So she says, yes. Is there any text more debatable than a follow-up text after a first date? So some people think there's this rule that like the guy is supposed to, or whoever initiated the date is supposed to be the one. And then some people think, well, they took you out, you should say thank you. So as long as you thank your date warmly and sincerely in person before parting ways, Dr. Chloe says there's no reason to send a thank you.
I disagree.
I do too.
I disagree. Because I always send a thank you anything for any reason.
Same.
But it's also like, it's a pragmatic too. It's not necessarily about the thank you. I think it's like, it functions in your relationship like they know you made it home safe. Or you know that they made it home safe.
Right.
And that matters to me because I listen to true crime. It's like
you and I are on the same page when it comes to when either one of us leave. Text me when you get to where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do it with I do it with everyone. Yeah. I guess that's one of my forms of communicating love and that I care about you. I want to know you made it home safe. Yeah, and yes, same. Decent. Yes, it's a polite thing to do.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of walking people to their door, which we don't do anymore because it's weird to have strangers at your house. Sending a thank you text is that same.
I love that analogy.
Here's another thing. I listen to true crime.
Yeah.
If I get home and I text the person, thanks very much for a great night, I had a great time. So they've heard from me and then I disappear, they're not a suspect.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
I'm not a suspect.
Yeah.
If they made it home safe.
Well. Okay, so
then everybody knows I was at home and they were there and we're not together.
So she says, no matter what, you should always warmly thank them. Okay, and I will say, even if it's not a thank you text, before I get into what Dr. Chloe says here, even a text that says, like that awful date where the guy was going to feed his dad's leg to the dog.
Gross.
I said that I sent him a thank you text. I mean, when I left, he was like, he said, you'd want to be just friends. Yeah. And I said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to meet with me, but I'm going to have to decline even a friendship. Like I was very polite about it, but I still was very much like, thank you. I mean, he still used his time. He still paid for the Pepsi I drank or whatever. So, I mean, it's still a respect. I feel like it's just the polite thing to do. Even if you never plan on seeing them again, thanks for your time.
It only takes 2 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, unless somebody was completely awful to you, but. Sure. So Dr. Chloe says, basically sending a text right after may put them in a position where they feel obligated to respond in a certain way and removes any healthy tension on their part of wondering, how you used to drop them off at the door and you'd leave with that wondering of Ooh, I wonder what they think. How did it go?
Yeah.
She's saying leave the date with that wondering.
Really?
Yes. Because that keeps them kind of hanging on.
Oh, I hate that. That's not
She
fair.
said it's okay to leave them thinking, oh, she had a good time. I think she likes me. I'll have to feel them out in a few days.
Yeah.
However, if you're worried you may have been a bit standoffish or not flirty, maybe your nerves got the best of you, then go ahead and send them a text letting them know you enjoyed yourself. Don't overthink it. If you know you showed your enthusiasm in person, the ball is in their court. Let them throw it. I just don't agree with it.
I don't know about that. I don't think it should be a turn-taking thing.
Agreed.
I don't think it necessarily is like, now it's your turn to make the move.
I literally think, and I always tell my sister, you should never keep score in a relationship, ever.
If it feels right, make a move.
Yes.
They're going to say yes or they're going to say no.
Yes. It doesn't matter, like, your gender, your sex. Like, none of that matters anymore. If you are a girl and you think a guy is hot, fucking ask him out.
Yeah.
Don't, flirt and be all, whatever, and then hope that he asks you out.
Yeah.
Like, fucking ask him out.
Yeah.
You never
improper.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, here's number 7. Okay. And I kind of don't agree with this one either. Okay. I feel like this is a bit long, but she says, give them 2 weeks to reach out again. Yes, 2 weeks may seem like even after, like, a long time, even after a great date. But 2 weeks gives someone time to decide if you're compatible, if they can find time for you in their life, and it gives them time to make plans to see you again.
I'd have to say I agree.
Do you?
2 weeks is a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Like if that's as long as I would want to wait for a call back. After 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, obviously it's not going to happen. I'm not going to, whatever.
That's exactly, I think
if you need to clear an evening at work, sometimes you need a week out to do that.
But like no communication at all for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later they're like, okay. So she says, don't read too much into it. Not hearing from them right away. Right. However, after 2 weeks, it's safe to assume that they are unable or unwilling to prioritize even the idea of you. To quote Ariana Grande, thank you. Next.
I'd have to say I agree.
I
think 2 weeks is a really
I feel like 2 weeks is a really long time, but
I blink and 2 weeks goes by.
I feel like 2 weeks is a good amount of time. It is kind of perfect because it's not too long, it's not too short.
And I forget to do things for 2 weeks at a time.
Same.
Sincerely.
Yeah.
And if they're a working person, I totally get it.
It's been a week since my date, and I haven't been able to fit any time in for them. So I guess so. It's not as long as I thought.
But I guess you have to ask yourself, are you willing to see somebody if you haven't spoken to them in 2 weeks? So on the 15th day, are you a person that'll say, no?
You waited too long?
Well, I would probably say, no. That was weeks ago.
Moved on.
You had all this time.
Yes. So Dr. Chloe does say pay attention to how they follow up in 2 weeks.
Text message?
Yes.
Hey.
Literally!
No punctuation. No lowercase. Hey.
Literally, my next line is, if you get that text that says, hey. I take it you've gotten that text before. Oh, yeah. We all know what that, hey. Okay, so she does say, hey, is different than reaching out 10 days later with, hey, things have been hectic at work, but I'd love to see you again. Are you free next week?
Huge difference.
Huge difference. We all know what that hey means.
Hey. Do you watch BoJack Horseman?
No.
No? Okay. There's a funny hey moment in there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So basically how they pursue you is very different than how quickly they pursue you. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
So I guess so, yeah. I like that one. That was a good one. I changed my mind. I convinced myself. Number 8, wait a few dates to have sex. So here's this one I back and forth on. I tend to wait. So she says, I'm not saying first date sex is wrong or an absolute no-go. 1000% to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on this topic. If you're looking for a relationship, you can spare your heart a little damage by avoiding sexual intimacy like right away.
Yeah.
Because we do tend to get attached to people when, there's...
when you share that with them and you're vulnerable with them. Yeah.
Yes. However, if that's what you are going on a date for, get it.
Fuck yeah.
Do it.
Get some.
As long as you're both consenting and want it, then by all means.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for a serious relationship, she says that it's a better idea. If all you feel is a strong sexual connection, by all means, do what is right for you. But if you're feeling something more, you can wait a few dates to make sure that it's their goal also. Having sex can make us feel more attached to a person, which can cause you to feel... Yep.
Yeah.
Which can cause you to feel down on yourself if they don't end up committing to you. Yeah. And no one wants to feel that way. So, yeah, I don't think that rule needs to be set in stone, but I do agree with it for the most part.
Because in my experience, I do tend to wait a pretty long time.
Me too.
And it doesn't even really have to do with the person. It just has to do with, like, I just, for a long time, felt like I either wasn't good at sex or I wasn't getting anything out of it. It wasn't enjoyable. So I was like, I don't really need it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why rush into it?
Yeah, why rush into something I don't even enjoy?
No, exactly. Yeah. And then that comes with relationship. Yeah. I feel like first date sex is always so fucking awkward. Yeah. I hate first date. Or not first date, but like the first time sex.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, number 9, and we've had this debate. Don't freak out over who pays. Times have changed, gender roles have changed, and it's all becoming more equal. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm going to say this. Until women have deep pockets, and I don't mean financially, I mean actual pockets in our fucking pants, we'll never be equal. That's just my opinion. Give me deep fucking pockets. # deep pockets, equal rights. Anyway, so she says this is an opportunity to do what makes you feel more comfortable with your values. So like you and I saying we feel comfortable paying our half, then you don't owe anybody. Yeah. Is perfectly fine. However, it is also perfectly fine when somebody comes along like Schmacks and says, I'm going to pay. And if you're comfortable, if you're comfortable with that, then let them pay. So that's a rule that's just not written in stone. Yeah. You do what makes you feel comfortable, I feel like.
Exactly. I mean, I'll always be team half and half.
Yeah.
It's always an option.
I'm kind of there with you on that one. Number 10, but I won't turn down a free meal. FYI. Number 10, feel free to do some of the planning for the date, which I like also. Obviously, when someone else takes the reins on choosing time and place, it's nice, but some people are not good planners. Me.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Some places are reservation only.
Yes. Yeah. And, I learned that last weekend. And some places close early on Saturday nights at like 8. But
some places don't have parking, like in that town.
Yeah.
On the street, downtown.
Yep.
That is a terrible thing to walk into.
Awful.
Like, you're just like, have a good night planned, and you get there, and there's no parking anywhere.
And
going on a walk wasn't part of the plan.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And my idea of a fun day, I love like going to arcades and stuff. Oh, yeah. So like and this worked so well. But last weekend, basically, he was like, what do you want to... He goes, you pick the place. And I'm like, okay. And then I gave him options of what do you want to do?
McDonald's.
So I was like, do you want to like go bowling? Do you want to go to an arcade? Or do you just want to do traditional dinner? He said dinner. Okay. Then he's like, you pick the place. And I thought that was great because it was like we both did it. But then he also let me kind of have control of...
back and forth.
Yeah. So... Yeah, I don't think it should be stuck in stone who plans the date. You can plan it together, and it doesn't have to be the traditional dinner and a movie either. Right. We've talked about that.
Yeah. I have HBO now, so like I can see whatever's in theaters.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Exactly.
It kind of takes the allure out of paying $17 fucking for a seat.
Yep.
You know?
And then this is the last one, and I will 100,000,000% fucking agree with this one. Eat whatever the fuck you want.
Yay!
I'm just saying. I don't know why it has been ingrained in women that we order a salad or that you only eat a little bit of what's on your plate because it's the ladylike thing to do. Mm-hmm. I used to think that.
I'm going for the ribs.
Dude, I'm going for whatever the fuck I want on that menu that night.
Listen, I'm and fucking dessert for myself anyway, so I'm gonna get the lobster.
Right. With the crab and the butter, excuse me, while I make a fucking mess of myself.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I highly, highly agree with her on this one. She says that what you order should never even be a fucking topic of discussion. Absolutely. And I agree with that.
Absolutely.
We've all heard ladies order salad or don't finish your plate or don't take the food home.
What?
Believe last weekend I was fucking taking to-go boxes home. Like,
I've never heard that. What is that? Don't take it home.
Yeah. When? I don't know. I didn't know that was a rule either, but that was one of the things she listed as like an unwritten rule.
Lady like to waste it. Give me a break.
Right?
No.
Right?
No.
I used to always take home scraps to my Great Dane.
Yeah, right?
Yes. So half the time they weren't even for me. So fuck off, you know?
You're just taking whole
I'm not wasting. Yeah. I'm not wasting this. My dog will fucking love this. Yeah. So, finish your fucking plate. Or at least take home the leftovers if, you don't want to eat everything there. And then fucking order dessert if you want it. You know?
Yeah.
You can share one. You can fucking order your own. Right. Order 5. Order the whole dessert menu if that's what you want. Take one bite of each.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Eat what you fucking want. And I agree with that one. So, yeah. Those are our Dr. Chloe's 11 rules of dating.
I like that.
Yeah. So I agree with most of them. I think it's good advice. For the most part.
Yeah, I think it's a good guide. Good suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Something and I forgot. I
was going to say, do you have ads this week?
I do. I do have ads.
Sweet. We have made some stickers. And listen, I haven't discussed this with Max, but I'm going to throw this out here.
What about Max?
If the first 10 people that write us a story and sends it to our Gmail at whatever.ijdm@gmail.com, we'll send you some free stickers.
Yes.
How about that?
I love that.
Okay.
I absolutely love that.
So, yeah, we've got some cool, fun stickers. Yeah. And if you send us a story, we just include your address and we'll mail you some stickers for free.
Yeah, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I can count to 10. So
I know, right?
Yeah. So when all my fingers are down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please write us in with your fun, awful, happily ever after, not happily ever after, whatever. What? Just write us your stories and we'll send you some stickers.
Yeah, and you can stick them on stuff or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them to friends.
Stickers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put them on my mirror, so you can do that. Yeah. Right.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to? Okay.
I do.
Give it to us.
Do you remember the dad jokes one? The Red Lobster one. It was like the bait and switch.
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes. Okay, yes.
I think this guy struck again. Or somebody just really liked his idea.
Okay.
This ad is called... by the way, these are coming to you from, I believe, Board Panda and Cheeseburger.
Okay.
These ones. This one's called Holy Shrimp. This can't be happening.
Oh, jeez.
Man for woman.
Okay.
I figured all the good gills already had a buoy in their life.
Oh.
Well, I was definitely wrong.
This is awesome!
No squidding. Let me know. I'd totally like to hook up sometime. Or maybe you're coy and need some time to mull it over. Hope to be hearing from you soon. Look at this picture.
Nailed it! With a hammer shark. Okay.
I'd go to Red Lobster with that person.
I 100% would have fucking swiped right or whatever. Yeah, that is a clever ad. That is so funny.
Love the dad jokes.
Yeah.
Add another buoy in your life.
They're my favorite.
All right, this one Short and sweet.
Okay.
I read it in my head with, like, a Philadelphia accent.
Okay, do it. Do it.
I can't. It's in my head. I'll try. Okay. This is called... This is gonna be the worst. Seen you eating cat food.
Okay.
Okay. Woman for man. I'm gonna try. I've never been to Philadelphia.
Sorry if we offend Philadelphians.
Sorry. Seen you eating cat food out of a can. You was using a fork. Looks like you's got some manners. I like that. Fucking shoot me.
They were eating cat food out of a can.
They was using a fork.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
I hope they found that person.
Here.
Okay.
Is an unorthodox proposal. Okay. Woman to sit in my bathtub full of noodles wearing a bathing suit.
Okay.
That's the title.
Mm-mm.
I will pay you $1 to sit in my bathtub full of noodles while you wear a one-piece bathing suit. I will not be home, nor will anybody else be there while you do this.
What?
I will leave the key for you. You will sit at your leisure. I require at least a 5-minute stay. A neighbor will watch the front door from across the street and using a supplied stopwatch will time your entry and your departure.
What?
You know, you gotta stay the whole 5
Right,
minutes.
yeah.
Please supply your own footwear.
Oh.
The noodles will be cooked and therefore slippery.
Okay. Thank God.
Enter at your own risk.
Better
Do
than
not
hard.
bring any sauce. I will season the pasta after I return home prior to dinner.
Mm-mm. What the actual fuck? What?
So what they want is the person sitting in the noodles to flavor it.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
With some microbiome.
That's disgusting.
Some microbiome soup.
Nope. Oh, what a good neighbor, though.
Yeah, I
like,
know,
just
right?
keep an eye out and fucking stopwatch somebody for you. Like, just sit there and time them. What if I stayed 6 minutes?
Oh, it's at least a 5-minute stay.
Okay.
So I would think if they're eating the noodles later, the longer you sit, the better
it's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Wowzer.
I hate it.
Yeah, that's gross. Okay. This one, I found a couple really good ones.
Okay.
This guy's title, and I might post this one. I'll block out his eyes. I'm not sure what site it's from, but his name is I Won't Murder You.
Oh,
He's 30, male.
Glad we got that.
Yep, straight, single, Boston, Massachusetts. My self summary. I'm a fun-loving guy and a self-starter who has absolutely no interest in committing murder.
Oh, great.
I'm looking for love, companionship, or just that one lovely evening. And rest assured that one lovely evening will absolutely end with you back at your house, safe and sound.
Is he trying to convince me or himself?
Let me take you into my magical world of not murdering anyone ever for any reason. Then it says what I'm doing with my life. I'll tell you this right up front. Certainly not murdering anyone, least of all you. Beyond that, mostly digging. What? What?
Why?
Digging what? What the fuck are you digging? Graves.
Fuck. Is he a grave digger?
Again, this is going to be the theme of all of these. Did you get a date? I want to know if somebody fucking answered this guy's. Oh, fucking fantastic. He's not going to murder me.
Yay.
I'll pick him.
I'm hooked.
What?
Pick me up.
Yeah. And then.
Way to go, guy. I like it.
This one, whatever site this was from, they do this like algorithm thing where they have a match, a friend, or an enemy, a percentage.
Interesting.
Yeah. So whoever got the match with this gentleman, it was a 0% match, 5% friend, and 94% enemy.
Wow.
Which I want them to know they're still missing a percentage.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
This gentleman's self-summary. This guy looks like... Did you ever watch that show, My Name is Earl?
Yes.
Do you know the big guy, the brother? Earl's brother? The dumb guy that, like...
Maybe. Is he bald?
Yes.
Oh, then yeah.
And he plays like that same character in every show he's in. He looks like that guy.
Okay.
And his self-summary. I am a 3-time convicted sex offender.
Fuck.
I mean, at least he's putting it up front.
I mean, legally he has to.
But they don't, usually. Just want to get that out there at the start.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Appreciate that.
They were violent crimes, but I've turned a corner. So if you're cool with that, hit me up.
Okay.
Not like I hit them up, though. LOL. Do you laugh? Do you throw up? Like,
oh my God.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh my God. You know, it's like... Where else can this guy go if not the internet? He's a sex offender.
I just, like, but if that's your way of being funny, it's not funny,
Maybe it's
right?
one of those inside jokes that only sex offenders understand.
I'm definitely going to post this one because everybody needs to see this picture. And I am going to read you her profile before I show you the picture so we can get your reaction of the picture. And I will post this for you guys so you can see. This is Brandon.
Okay.
She's 26.
Okay.
About Brandon. My dumbass parents gave me a boy's name, but they call me Apples. I can fit an entire apple in my mouth. What more do you want to know? Oh, and my favorite letter is D.
I like the apple.
What?
Out of all those things, I like the apple.
That's what you're going to post?
That's what you lead with?
That's what, like...
I mean, it's flattering.
And I love that she's like, my dumbass parents gave me a boy's name. Her name is Brandon.
I mean,
and she surely can fit a whole apple into her mouth.
Yeah. I would like to play bobbing for apples with Brandon.
On your team. 100%.
Yeah,
you would for sure win.
For sure.
Yep.
I mean, that's an asset right there.
Right?
You know?
It's got to be a skill for something in life.
Yeah. Or other fruits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if you were a guy looking at this, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll post these profiles on our Instagram so everybody can see them.
That sounds
But
great.
yeah.
Yay!
That's our episode for this week.
What did you do for self-care this week?
I didn't get to do a lot of self-care, but yesterday my body was like, it's time for self-care. And so I kind of started getting a little bit of a sore throat. And I was going to go do my second job that I usually do. And I was like, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to lay on the couch. My mom is visiting right now. So she asked me, can we watch the Twilight movies? And we laid on the couch and watched 3 of the Twilight movies. So awful, but so good. Because I remember when they came out and we were just, everybody was obsessed with them and stuff. But it was such a good, lazy day.
Oh, I love that so much.
We just had leftovers for dinner.
Yeah.
It was super easy. So I just Twilighted.
I love that.
Yeah, it was good.
Yay.
What did you do?
Oh my God, so much. Like I said, I haven't been like full-time working in a couple of weeks. I've been transitioning from the last job and the new job and kind of preparing. So I've had a lot of time off.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh my God, you know what I did for myself?
What?
I signed up for Imperfect Foods. Like, fucking Instagram gets me with their ads. They know me. They haven't figured the fuck out, though.
Yeah.
I might have literally been talking out loud about it that day. Like, I always overspend at the grocery store.
And then you get this ad.
The food, yeah. And I want to say this is not an ad for Imperfect Foods, but, like, it's way cheaper because I live alone, mostly, and I just don't eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably will now because I'm not, like, I don't have an hour commute to and from work anymore.
Do you get to pick the food that they send you?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, to some extent. You get a box of just, like, some conventional fruits and veggies from farms around you.
Okay.
But you can take things out that you don't want, right? And then you can add something like pantry things, and they'll put 2 pantry things in there, or add beverage pack, and they'll put a couple beverages in there.
Okay.
So you can add and you can subtract. So what I've been trying to do is make it a $50 thing.
Yeah.
Each week,
mm-hmm.
and I still have last week's food. Like I might not even need to have it delivered weekly, but I don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. I can budget.
Yeah.
And one of my goals for this year, anyway, like my resolution or whatever, was to start cooking again, because I'm a fantastic cook. I just have not had the time or the motivation, and like. I'll go grocery shopping and I'll get fresh food, and I'm like, I'm going to cook all this stuff, and then I waste it because I spend time commuting or tired. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that was my self-care. I feel really good about that. Obviously, I made us an amazing dinner.
I was just going to say, and just FYI, Max is an amazing cook. We just had some like Tuscan chicken potato thing. Yeah. That you were like, oh, I just whipped this up. And I'm like, that's like a full-on dinner. Yeah. Are you hungry? It's 1:00. And I'm like, yes.
I'm such an old person.
It was so good. It was so good.
Cute.
So, yeah, you are a good cook.
Thanks.
That's cool. I like that.
I love cooking. That's my end of the day zen.
You know? Yes. Yeah.
And then I went to a bookstore the last time I was in town. So that was my self-care.
Nice.
And tomorrow is like my first day of work at my career job.
Yeah.
The full-time like adult job.
Yes. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, I want everybody to remember they can find us on Instagram at whateverijdm.
We're also on Twitter at whateverijdm.
You can go to our Patreon account at patreon.com/whateverijdm.
You can go to our Buzzsprout page at https://whateverijdmpodcast.buzzsprout.com.
And please, please, please send us your stories at our Gmail at whateverijdm@gmail.com.
Yes, please include the name that you would like us to use and your preferred pronouns.
And if you include your address, we'll send you some stickers.
Yeah, they're really awesome. Not gonna lie. They're like the coolest stickers you'll ever see.
Yeah. So, when it all gets to be just too much,
whatever.
I'll date myself. Yay! See you next week.